I always liked fabric and the colors and the patterns, and before I started making them myself, I would draw a picture for my mother and say, this is the skirt or the dress that I want, and she would make it. I'm just kind of self-taught. I never even took home ec in high school because I didn't think I liked it, but then when I started sewing, I just loved it. And I've always made quilts ever since I've been married, but a lot of them were just little tied quilts. We went to mission in Australia, and we got back about 10 years ago, and that's when I started on this project. And I thought, well, what if I made a quilt and connected it to some life lesson or a principle of the gospel or a song or something that was meaningful in my life, and that would become meaningful in the lives of the ones that I gave it to. And I really didn't intend to make 100, but I just kept sewing until there was 100. And I've made the last 2 quilts since my diagnosis. 3.5 years ago, I had uterine cancer, and I was told that it was all taken care of. I had surgery and they took everything out, including lymph nodes, anything they thought would carry the cancer, and thought that it was fine. But now it's come back and metastasized, and it's inoperable. So I'm doing 18 rounds of chemo, got 11 of them done, 7 more to go, and then 5 weeks of radiation every day. We have 59 grandchildren and 63 great-grandchildren. So all those I had already made quilts for before I started this little 100 quilt project. We let all the kids choose a quilt, and then we let the grandkids choose a quilt, and then I counted down and I had enough quilts for all the great-grandkids 8 years and older. So they got to choose a quilt. It's not just a quilt, which the kids love, but it has a message that will maybe last longer than the quilt. So I think that helped me, thinking about that it was going to help somebody. It's kind of a legacy. Every quilt gets completed, so it's a cycle. It's not something that's open-ended. There's a finish to it. If you just do things one stitch or one seam at a time, you can really accomplish a lot. And in thinking about it, that's kind of how I've gotten through life, is one seam at a time.